Hey guys, Buffy Game Bed today, bringing you our video for our movie weapons series, and today we're going to be covering the Mark-12 SPR, or Special Purpose Rifle, as used in the movie Lone Survivor by Marcus Luttrell, as well as in real life out of his book, which was also, the movie was based on the book. So we'll go ahead and jump into that. I'll show you the loadout, we'll build the operator, and then we'll jump in game, see how this thing handles, and go through some information about the real life event, as well as the movie itself. So, the movie itself was based on the book of the true life events of Marcus Luttrell from Operation Red Wings, which took place in 2005. The movie was released in 2013, starring Mark Wahlberg as Marcus Luttrell. So if we back out and we look at the weapon here, here is our Mark-12 SPR, or Special Purpose Rifle. So let's go ahead and back out, and I will strip this thing down to base. We'll go ahead and take the camouflage off of the weapon, and we're going to start with the base version here, being the Thunderclap. Now, I did do way back in the beginning of Modern Warfare, I did do a weapon conversion video on the Mark-12 SPR. If you want to know more information about the real-life weapon itself, the stats of the real weapon from the weapon conversion series, I'll link that video in the description down below. Here you can see what we built way back then for the weapon conversions for the Mark-12 SPR. I believe this was supposed to be our mod 0, perhaps, or maybe our mod 1. But here we're going to build the Mark-12 SPR mod 1. So we'll go ahead and use the Thunderclap for base because we want the base Stenag mag. So let's go ahead, we'll back out, and we'll go through this weapon. So first off, for the muzzle, we're going to go ahead and throw on a tactical suppressor here. Now, obviously, if you want the best performance in game, you'll go with a monolithic suppressor. But in real life, in the movie itself, actually, Marcus Luttrell, or Mark Wahlberg's character portraying Marcus Luttrell, had the wrapped suppressor on this. Unfortunately, it's not an option in game, so the tactical suppressor is really, in my mind, as close as we'll get. That'll give us the sound suppression. The cons here are the aim down sight speed and the aim walking steadiness. Now, for the barrel option, the Mark-12 SPR has an 18-inch barrel in real life, so in game here, the closest we're going to get to replicating that, as well as with the length and visually, are going to be the Corvus Custom Marksman, which is based on the M16A4 barrel. This is a 19-inch barrel in game, but again, in real life, it's an 18-inch barrel for the Mark-12. So this is as close as we'll get. This will give us the pros being the damage range, bullet velocity, and the recoil control. Cons here are going to be the aim down sight speed and the movement speed. So we'll go ahead and select the Corvus Custom Marksman barrel. Now we're going to go ahead and skip on the laser for right now. For the optic, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and do the variable zoom sight. Now in real life, they were running Leopold's on this. I believe it was Leopold's MRT scopes. However, the variable zoom, kind of the closest we'll get to replicating that. We don't have the exact scope in game. This will give us the zoom level. Magnification toggle, we can toggle from 3 to 6.1 times zoom. Cons here are the aim down sight speed. So we'll go ahead and select that. Now, in real life, as well as in the movie, Marcus Luttrell's Mark-12 SPR Mod 1 had a fixed M16A2 buttstock on this, so we'll go with the M16 stock. This will give us the aiming stability, and the cons here being the aim walking movement speed. So we'll go ahead. You can see you have a few different options there. You can definitely go with the OG, would give it a nice look as well, because we're going to put the camo on, and then you can see you have the XRK-M4, as well as the Old Faithful. So for this one, we'll go with just the default, keep it simple, and then we'll go ahead and skip out on the perk. The rear grip, the ammunition we're going to keep at base in real life, as well as in the movie, he was using a Stenag 30-round magazine. Now, the Mark-12 SPR fires the 5.56x45 NATO, so we already have the right ammo and the right magazine. And then for the underbarrel attachment, we'll go ahead, and we're going to run a Ranger foregrip. However, in the movie, and I'm not sure about how he had it set up in real life, but in the movie specifically, there was the foregrip as well as the bipod further up on the Picatinny rails. Unfortunately, we don't have a combo set like that for aesthetic purposes or cosmetic purposes here in the game, unfortunately. So you could run a bipod. However, for this, we're going to run the Ranger foregrip, just give us a little bit better performance for how we're going to be using this. And to stay true to the movie, if we could put a bipod on the front still and fold that thing up, that would be perfect with the grip, and it would look awesome. But we're going to go with the base Ranger foregrip. Go ahead and select that. And then for the camouflage, we're going to go ahead, and in the movie, it looks like I'm not sure specifically what it is in the movie, the color, but it looks like it's going to be a light greenish like this, kind of similar to the Commando or even the Rippenteer, or excuse me, even the Monochrome Snake. So you can use either of these. I think the Commando is probably the closer option to what he's using in the movie. So we'll go ahead and select Commando. Now, one thing here in the movie, unfortunately, we can't do it here in game. The Stenag mag retains the same color as the camouflage. I don't believe any of the blueprints with the Stenag mags will retain the camouflage. And then also in the movie, they were running, both Marcus Luttrell and Matthew Axelson in the movies were running PEC-2 laser target designators on the left-hand side of the rail. So they would be on the front Picatinny. Unfortunately here, we can't use the 5th attachment, and it's also on the top Picatinny instead, which would be fine, but we also want to make sure we're using the other attachments. The laser really isn't needed here. However, in real life, this laser, I believe, was mounted on the left or the right-hand Picatinny rail in the movie. So it would be on the left or right-hand where we have those rail covers. You can see there's 2 rail covers there on the left and right-hand side. We have the first one, which is the longer rail cover, which goes right about to the end of the foregrip, and then we have that shorter rail cover there in front of that. You can see where that breaks. So in real life and in the movie, that front rail cover on either side would be removed, and the PEC-15 or the PEC-2, as it is in the movie, would be mounted on the left or the right-hand side wherever that rail cover would be removed. So you can see, obviously, when we put the PEC-15 here on the top rail, it removes that top rail cover. So just do the same on the side. Unfortunately, we don't have the option as to where we're going to place it. So if we go ahead and remove that, you can see we have the rail covers again fixed on the top. So it looks all right. Looks pretty good like that. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. Now, if we back out really quickly, you can compare it to another one that I was trying to build. I really like the task force blueprint for this. However, with the same attachment, you can see just the upper receiver doesn't retain the camouflage. Obviously, neither does the Stenag mag. So it looks really nice as well, but we just don't have the right camo coverage there. So we're going to stay with the one that we built. Now for the operator, again, going in line with the movie, I'm not sure his actual kit in real life. I know he's shown it off before. As to what he was specifically wearing, I don't remember. But we're going to go with Captain Price here just to keep it closer to the movie. He's got the beanie, and he's got, again, in real life, very similar setup. Well, not real life. In the movie, it's a similar setup to what Captain Price's outfit here the captain uses. However, in real life and in the movie, Marcus Luttrell always had a Texas flag on his chest. Obviously, that's replaced with the Union Jack here because we're using Captain Price just for the try and cosmetically match what he's using, Marcus Luttrell or Mark Wahlberg's character is using in the movie. So you just replace those with Texas flags. That would look really good. However, you also have the option, again, his real-life kit, when they were inserted and things like that, you could definitely go ahead and run a D-Day kit here. And for D-Day, I would recommend actually not Arctic Ops, because this is more of a Delta or an OGA, other government agency type loadout or kit looking outfit that he has. You would want to run something like the Clipped-In would definitely be a good go-to. Potentially even Buckshot, you can see there, is pretty good, but I think Clipped-In is probably the better one. But you can see some of these, he has the Texas flag here, so like Buckshot and Arctic Ops has the Texas flag there. So you could obviously run any of those as well to try and closely match, especially because D-Day is from Texas, same as Marcus Luttrell, and he has that Texas flag on his plate carrier, which seems to be interesting, and I'm wondering if they actually did base the D-Day character potentially off of Marcus Luttrell in real life, which is very possible, especially because he's running that Texas flag there and on his helmet, which I think in real life, Marcus Luttrell always had the Texas flag painted on the back of his helmet as well. So that's a nice little tidbit there. Again, Captain Price is what we'll go with. You can see him here at the loading screen. If we go back to the loading screen, there he is with the MK-12 SPR. So it looks really nice. Looks pretty accurate to what he's using in the movie. If we could customize our character a little more, I think it would be pretty cool. But we'll go ahead and jump into the gameplay here. Again, we're using the MK-12 SPR. You're going to see, I ran it in 2 different games. So I ran it in hardcore just because we're firing the 5.56 by 45 NATO. It's not going to hit hard, and we're running this in semi-automatic to try and replicate the SPR, the MK-12 SPR. So I ran it in hardcore, and it was really effective there. And then I also ran it in realism, which also very effective. Again, this is just against bots. It's effective against bots. However, if you're going to run this in multiplayer or anything like that, definitely you want it to be hardcore. It would be very effective there. But in the base damage models, not very effective. You got to put a lot of shots on target to bring somebody down. But again, very, very nice weapon. It handles very well, especially in hardcore. Realism, not bad too if you're hitting the headshots. However, I did notice, you may see here, depending on which clips I put in, it did take 2 headshots in realism, which was pretty odd considering realism is supposed to be one-shot headshot. But that damage drop-off, I'm assuming from the suppressor we're using, may have contributed to that. So Again, in real life, the movie Lone Survivor came out in 2013, starring Mark Wahlberg, based on the real-life events of Marcus Luttrell from Operation Red Wings, based on his biography that he wrote called Lone Survivor. So if you haven't read the book or seen the movie, I would recommend highly reading the book first. I happen to read the book first and actually listen to it on audio while making a long drive back, I believe, in 2012 before the movie was coming out. And very, very, very good book. Again, Marcus Luttrell retells the whole story because he was there and he is the lone survivor, as you'll come to find out. I don't want to spoil it in case anybody hasn't seen it. But the book goes into very, very great detail about the combat that they were in, that engagement, and it really makes you appreciate the movie that much more. I wouldn't want to watch the movie first and then read the book. I think the book itself does a very good job of describing each Navy SEAL who is there, and obviously pays tribute to them because it was written by Marcus. So the movie itself, again, very, very good, based on the book. Marcus Luttrell served as a advisor for the movie and was on set to try and make sure a lot of things were accurate, making sure the actors accurately portrayed movement, engagements, things like that, loadouts, all of that. He was there to advise, and I think the movie itself is a great movie, and obviously real-life events, many soldiers lost their lives, so it's a touchy subject that I don't want to get too into, but again, it was a great movie, but it is based on real-life events. And in real life, Operation Red Wings, they went into the Kunar province, I believe it is, to try and identify on a reconnaissance mission. I believe his name was Ahmad Shah, who was a local Taliban anti-coalition leader who was obviously against the United States in the area, against the elections that were coming up, that the United States was trying to put an end to the Taliban in the region. So the Kunar province, the four-man team of Navy SEALs went into the region, try and locate Emile Shah. It was, again, just a reconnaissance mission. They ended up being spotted, unfortunately, just very horrible luck. Local goat herders. Rules of engagements, they talked about this, and they ended up letting these goat herders go, who ran basically down this mountain, told the Taliban, and the Taliban basically had a quick reaction force and were on top of the mountain engaging them as the four Navy SEALs had to fight downhill. And it was quite a crazy engagement that, again, the book goes into a lot of detail, and the movie does a very good job, but the movie will never do as good of a job as the book does. So I highly recommend reading the book. In real life, I believe it was one of the highest single loss of lives for Navy SEALs at the time in 2005. Michael Murphy, Matthew Axelson, as well as Danny Dietz, all three of them lost their lives, as well as numerous other SEALs that were sent in for the Quick Reactionary Force also lost their lives. Marcus Luttrell being the lone survivor of Operation Red Wings Part 1, or Phase 1, I should say. Phase 2 was to recover the downed SEALs, as well as ended up being the rescue for Marcus Luttrell. So, highly recommend the book. Definitely watch the movie as well after you read the book. Again, very, very good movie. I think Mark Walberg did a really, really good job portraying Marcus Luttrell, and obviously worked with Marcus Luttrell, who was advising the movie, and working with Mark Wahlberg and the other actors to try and portray the roles correctly and honor the men who they were portraying in real life. So let me know down below what you guys think. Again, the MK-12 SPR, the loadout from Marcus Luttrell in the movie Lone Survivor, as well as pretty close to his loadout in real life. Again, we're doing what we can here in the game Modern Warfare. Really nice weapon. I wish you had more hardcore realism modes kind of available to really take advantage of this, but definitely try it out in hardcore. It definitely works really well there. Let me know down below what you guys think. This is Buckner Gaming with our Lone Survivor Mark-12 SPR, special purpose rifle, loadout. Till next time, Buckner Gaming. Out.